I know, I'm one of the last people who still use Sony Vegas. I I swear it's the best. Well, that's a pretty awesome screen to go to. I swear it is the best editing software out there. Don't let big Adobe brainwash you into thinking Premiere's optimal. The 5 or 6 of us that still use this know the truth. I'm I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not pulling your leg. With Sony, so a lot of people mention this, like when it comes to like stream stuff. Almost everything I post, I edit because it takes me very short amount of time to edit. So like the Bloodborne stream, it was about, I think it was 12 hours, no, 14 hours of footage. I edited it. Wow, hitting the fucking remix. I performed an edit on that in about an hour and a half. I took the 14 hours and I edited it down to, what was it, 3 hours in about an hour and a half because of Sony Vegas. It's really easy. Like, I have such a good method here. I'll go ahead and I'll break the magician's code. If there's any aspiring editors out there, what I do is I have good memory, so I'm able to remember a lot of things, like things I think would be good for the edited video. And what I'll do is I'll just go in here and I'll look at the audio waves, and when it gets high like this, I'll know it was something, at least something happening with me speaking or saying something or getting loud about something, which means that might have been a good moment. So I'm able to just skip around and I don't need to watch all of the footage back. So you're able to save a lot of time by just looking at the audio waves. So like 98% of the things I post, I edit because it takes me actual minutes. GB taught you that one? GB taught me. Man, fucking no, I taught myself that one. Brother, I've been using Sony Vegas since you were still in your dad's nutsack. I started with Sony Vegas back in 2008 with Sony Vegas 7. And I used a pirated version of Sony Vegas 7 all the way up until 2015. And then I used a pirated version of whatever that one was. It was probably like Sony Vegas 14 or 15 at the time. And then I eventually paid for Sony Vegas once they sold it to a company called Magix, whatever the fuck that company is. And I've just stuck with it ever since. This only works because you're calm normally. It might not work for everyone in every case, but I really feel like if you just look at audio waves and just at least remember some of what was going on in whatever the footage is, you can just kind of jump around and edit to those places without needing to watch back all of the footage. You edit all of your videos? Almost every single one of them. The only ones I don't are the ones that have like actual editing that isn't just cutting. So like the tier lists, the bigger production stuff like the 20v1 stuff or the ghost hunts, those I don't edit. Yeah, there's still a couple of us, a few holdouts. I don't know how the company that owns Sony Vegas is still around. In fact, to put this in perspective, just how antiquated this is, Sony Vegas version 20, so the previous one to 21, has a problem. To this day, on my old PC, I still have Sony Vegas 20 and it still has this issue, where they rolled out an update that broke it. So you can't actually open Sony Vegas 20 while being connected to the internet. It instantly crashes. And they never fixed it because there's not enough people that use Sony Vegas to complain. So instead, they just made Sony Vegas 21 that works. Nope, it was never fixed. So before Sony Vegas 21 came out, when I was still on the old PC, the only workaround was anytime I wanted to open the program, I had to unplug my Ethernet, open it, and then I could plug it back in to edit. But Magix, the company that owns this now, God rest their soul, they just never bothered to fix it because no one gives a fuck. I even tried going into like my firewall settings and blocking the connection of Vegas 20 to the internet because you should get the same effect. It was so broken, not even that would work. Are you saying you can recall exactly what you said at every point during your streams? Jesus Christ, brother. No, I'm not a superhero. I just vaguely remember around areas of things I said. So like in this Marvel Rivals stream, like I'll remember around these parts. So like chasing Iron Man, I'll remember, I remember saying something here and I remember some good footage. And then I'll look at the audio waves and I'm like, oh, okay, here it is. So then I don't need to just watch the whole thing back. I'll just know exactly where it is. So I can just trim it. And it takes, instead of watching 45 seconds of footage, it takes me 3 seconds. Which is why I can edit a 14-hour piece of footage in like an hour. Have you done any crazy editing tricks, or is it all just cutting? All I do is cut. It's the simplest shit ever. I used to want to be like really good at editing, so if you ever found my old Gears of War montages or Halo montages or anime music videos when I was using like all kinds of crazy effects and screen shakes, you'll see. It was bad. I was never good at it. I couldn't get a handle on it. So all I do is cut. Nothing crazy. Sometimes I'll get really rambunctious though. Like for this video, I actually made this. So like I took the picture of the slapping therapist and I took this headline and I put the two together, and that's about as extreme as I get with editing techniques. Wait, you have two separate videos on the same timeline? Oh yeah. Like hold on, I'll show you a project. Like my projects are like they go ballistic. So here, I don't even know what B7 is. But like I'll have like 1,000 different videos all on the same timeline, up to like 9 hours worth taken over. And I just remember which one goes where, and I don't let them bleed into each other. What happened to every thumbnail being stretched out? Oh, I still do that. So for example, here, I'll show you my thumbnail process. So here's how I made the Bloodborne thumbnail. So what I did, and what I usually do for thumbnails, the reason it's stretched is I'll take a picture like this. I have the face cam there, and I don't really like that, so then I'll come down. I'll grab the image. I'll disable the aspect ratio. And then I stretch it. So that way, it's an emphasis on the part I like. And a lot of times, if I'm taking something like this isn't a game. So a lot of times I'll just take a random picture like that. There's not a whole lot of thought that goes into a thumbnail. I also really don't like having the black bars on the side of thumbnails, so sometimes, what I used to do a lot more, I haven't in a while because I haven't needed to, but I used to take like the auto-generated thumbnails from YouTube, and then I bring them in here and zoom it in so you didn't have the black bars on the side. You need to make a masterclass in editing. I unironically think if you're doing shit that's like super simple, like just yapping, like this, I have the optimal editing strategy. Like, legit, I honestly believe, I don't think anybody can edit yapping as quickly as I can. Because it's just cutting. You don't need anything more than just cutting. Same with, like, the Bloodborne stream. Even though it's 14 hours of footage, just cutting, it took me an hour to go through all of that. Because I don't need to watch all of it. I just look at the audio waves and I cut around it. What video took you the fastest to make from recording to editing? Well, I've never gone for a gold split. I don't know. I'd have to really think. What if something cool happened when you weren't talking? Nah, it's impossible. Only cool stuff happens when I'm blabbering. I'm sure I haven't missed anything in the silence. What video editing app is this? It's Sony Vegas, but it's no longer called Sony Vegas because Sony doesn't own it anymore. They've wiped that blemish from their record. It's Magic's Vegas software now. If you bought Sony Vegas, hold this L. As I said, I used pirated Vegas software for almost a decade, and then it became more of a headache to pirate it because people stopped. This software is so archaic and like such an asswipe grease stain on the editing community. People stopped fucking seeding it. Like I couldn't pirate it anymore. Like I couldn't, even if I wanted to. So I've been paying for it for the last like 8 years. What about DaVinci Resolve? It's free. Oh, get out of here with that Zoomer hocus pocus jargon. I don't know. DaVinci Resolve or Rizmaster, Whippin' Nay. I don't know any of that old shit. That newfangled tech. I only know my Sony Vegas. You ever try to learn Premiere? I use Premiere when I'm on the road because none of my friends will let me download Sony Vegas on their laptops. So I'm forced to use Premiere. Premiere is a worse piece of software. I'm just going to say it. Sorry, Adobe enthusiasts. I think Premiere sucks. I hate it. I can't be as efficient. Sorry to tell you, but real editing chads use Windows Movie Maker. You think I didn't use Windows Movie Maker? Brother, I was using Windows Movie Maker during its peak. All of my early videos were Movie Maker originals. Then I graduated to... Zero of you are going to know this one. Actually, zero of you are going to know this one. It's called Pinnacle Studios. Oh my god, it still exists. They're at Pinnacle Studio 26! How is this still around? Oh my god, what? But when I had the Dazzle Platinum capture card, this was bundled editing software. I think it was like Pinnacle Studio 4 or 5 back then. How time flies. Did you use Fraps to record? Man, I went through all of it. On my old AMV channel, I had a RuneScape music video for the song Dwarf Invasion, where I was in the mines like screaming the lyrics at the dwarves in the mines, and I used unregistered Hypercam 2 for that. I then made the switch to Fraps. I never used Bandicam, I don't think, but then I went from unregistered Hypercam to Fraps when I started doing gaming stuff, like outside of RuneScape. I thought you recorded the TV with the camera first. This is for footage on computer. Fraps was only for computer, and unregistered Hypercam was only for computer. Camcorder is how I recorded my old Xbox gameplay for Gears of War and actually Rainbow Six Vegas. Those are the two ones that I used to make montages for with the camcorder. Oh yeah, this is a better example. This is usually what it looks like. So like here's a video, 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 here's one, here's one. This is one, this is mouthwashing, and this is one. You have multiple videos in the same project? You bet your sweet bippy I do. You guys don't understand optimal efficiency. Like, think about how much time I save going from a video in here to just dropping another one in here without having to make a new project. I save like 15 seconds per split. Like you don't get it. You do any fancy mixing and stuff for audio? Not a goddamn thing. Sometimes if the audio is too low, I make a separate audio track, bring it down here, and do this to just turn it up. So you don't do any effects? I wouldn't say that. Like, here. Like, for these, sometimes... What a good example from the fucking Reddit text messages. Sometimes I'll need to zoom in with a pan and crop. And then actually here's another cool technique. So let's say this guy's name wasn't blanked out. What I'll do is I'll create a mask. And I'll do this. And then I come down here and I set the mode to negative, and bang, it's censored. Like, you see that? Do you see that? And I just, normally if someone censors something, they'll take like what, a minute, 2 minutes to set it up? Fucking getting all the keyframes right? I make a box. Save so much time. That's a fucking 5 booms out of 5 booms right there on the efficiency meter.